Welcome to the Full Octane Garage. Today is going to be brake changing day on the Porsche Diesel Cayenne. And here's a few things that you're going to need. When you change your brakes, I am actually changing to some PowerStop Evolution low dust brakes. They are the Z23s. The part number is the Z231577 for the front of the Diesel Cayenne. We have also upgraded to a drilled rotor. And these are side specific. This one says front passenger side. This is the side that we'll be working on to start with. A few tools you're going to need, or a few things you're going to need. You're going to need some gloves to keep your hands clean and keep the oils off of the disc. When you're jacking the vehicle, you're going to need some jack pucks, and we'll show you how to use these jack pucks. You can use some hockey pucks. They're not quite as stable. Jack pucks fit up in the hole and secure up there, a little more convenient. We'll have some links on where to get these. We've talked about the brake pads. It comes with some miscellaneous parts. Handy would be a brake spreader. So once you take your old pads off, you want to be able to expand and push the pistons back in. You're also going to want to make sure you remove some brake fluid from your master reservoir. If it's not low enough to take the fluid that's pushing back up into the system, it will make one heck of a mess in your engine bay. You don't want to do that. You're going to need a torque wrench, probably a impact wrench. Let's see, you'll need your wheel lock, which should be in the back if you have one. This is a 3/4 inch socket that will fit on my impact and also fit on my torque wrench. Some brake parts cleaner is handy, and you're going to want some brake parts lubricant to lather on any of the moving parts and also lubricate the back sides of the pad so that they don't squeak. So let's get right into showing you how to jack the car up, and then we're going to get into pulling the wheels off. And there is one more piece here that's kind of handy, and this is a wheel hanger, because your lug nuts are not really lug nuts, they're lug studs on this vehicle. So once you pull all of the studs out, aligning the wheel back on is quite a challenge. So you screw this into one of the holes, and your wheel will hang on one stud while you get another stud in and kind of work the rest in. Be pretty explanatory once we get to put the wheels back on. Two more things I forgot to mention. You're going to need some Torx bits, and you're also going to need some triple square bits. The triple square bit, I believe it's a triple square 14, is what's going to allow you to remove the caliper. You can get these on Amazon or any parts store. This particular set is a metric, and there's a number of different types that have a socket built in. This one here looks like you put a socket over it. So it's the first time using these, so let's get right to it. Okay, to properly jack a Porsche Cayenne, at least in the front section, there is this protective cover that you have to pull down, and you'll notice that there is a hole up there, and that's a jack point. And what we do is we take these jack pucks and we actually put it up into the hole and hang it. You'll see a way they can hang in there, and then once they're hanging, all you do is you take your floor jack and position it over the jack puck, centered on the jack, and now you're safe to jack the vehicle. See, I mentioned they are a stud with a floating collar on them. Okay, these are the two big mounting studs that are an M14. I've already loosened them up, so we're going to start pulling them out. And I have the wheel sitting here because what I'm going to do is set the brake caliper on the wheel so that it doesn't put a lot of pressure on any of the wiring or anything. Okay, we're going to remove the pads off of the caliper. And they should have a little backing plate that comes off. And that's the plate we're going to reuse. This is where your wear sensor is. Our wear sensors are getting replaced because they've actually started getting worn down as the pads are pretty thin. Put it in there. Get in position on all of the pistons so that as we tighten these up and spread them back out, there we go, got a little pressure on them, and all 6 pistons are hitting, and we're going to squeeze these back in. Until it snugs up and these are all in. Want to make sure we have enough room for these new pads to get around the new rotors. Okay, now we'll loosen them back up and pull this off. Okay, so now we're going to get a T45 Torx, and we're going to remove the bolt that holds the rotor on. And the rotor's already coming loose, which is good. I'm going to save that bolt. I'm going to pull the rotor off, set it aside. This feels pretty clean back here. If this was rusty, I would clean that up, but that looks pretty good. So we're going to put this guy on here, making sure the alignment hole is where it needs to be. There we go. I'm going to snug that guy up. And then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and put your new brake wear sensor in on the inside pad. Because that's going to pop through that hole, and we're going to re-plug it in once we mount this caliper up. Okay, what we want to do is gop up these anti-squeal pads really nicely and put some lubrication between the pad and this anti-squeal tab. I also like to put just a little bit where the pistons are hitting, just so we don't get any risk of squeal there either, hopefully. Now what we'll do is we'll stick the pad back in. The springs are already in, so we're going to just pop it into the springs. And that's it. Now we'll put the caliper back on and everything should be good. Okay, we'll put these mounting bolts back in, torque them to 104, get the wheel back on, and we'll be done. Okay, and the caliper bolts are going to be tightened to 104 foot-pounds of torque. So you're going to need a torque wrench that'll go up over 100. There we go. Now we're ready to put the wheel back on and on to the next side.